Did you guys see the Raw reunion last night?
I did.
Yeah, I actually spent the time and watched the whole thing.
Okay, so do you just want to go overall, or do you want to go by segments?
No, there's nothing to go overall because overall, the show's specific purpose was just to do a reunion.
Right.
Okay, and so right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I was disappointed. Here's the thing: everybody in the WWE now, with the new creative changes, okay, the key word is changes. So people are looking for things to change, right? Because there's obviously things that people are upset with the way the show's being, well, for whatever gripes they have about the show. Okay, but most of the gripes are about the booking, blah, blah, blah. When you have all these people back, you're doing it specifically to try and pop a rating. Okay, so the key is you want to pop a rating so you can you have a bunch of eyeballs on the product that you can get people to forward, a storyline so they'll watch next week. And it's like I'm watching the show, and it's like, at what point did they, with Mick Foley and
Bray Wyatt
they did, but that's not really a spot where you look at what's forwarding next week. He did the exact same spot last week. He just did this week to Mick Foley.
Yeah, and Mick can't wrestle.
Nothing happened on the show to make me to kind of use these guys as a tool to get people over. They had all these guys in the show, and they had Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman out there just doing a squash match against a nobody.
Yeah. And it's kind of.
And I'm like, okay, so here's my take: is that you gotta since there's changes, I'm looking for change. I'm looking for things to change, and you have to get my attention, right? But tell me if you guys don't feel the same way I do. Is that when I'm watching the show, your show is still treating me like I'm a kid. Like the conversations of the show are very childish. The tone of the show is still very childish and kind of geared towards kids. Until you start making it toward I'm an adult, and until I want to want to get engaged in something. If you're not going to give me things to get engaged in as an adult, I'm not buying you yet. That's the way I feel when I'm watching the show.
Now I was reading this thing where they were saying that they were having a lot of problems because a lot of wrestlers were physically unable to do shit, and they couldn't get cleared medically. Right. So, which is probably for best because they all looked really old.
For example, when you see Pat Patterson laying on the ground and Briscoe takes the belt, but you didn't see them do anything physical, that's probably one example. And some people were saying maybe even
some other things with the women. It was just kind of stupid, just the way they did. It was just really stupid. But it was all that's a hokey thing. Anyways, to me personally, maybe it's already past its expiration date. I've seen a little bit too much of it. It's still funny at sometimes, but yesterday was too much of it and I didn't like it. But going back to your point, Disco, bro, that promo that Seth did buried him so bad. There's
horrible.
no time you can find, maybe when I was in the Dungeon of Doom because I just broke into WCW and I didn't want to shake the waters. But other than that, you're never going to find no time in my career where I uttered stupidity like that where it just buries you.
Right.
Brock, blah, 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 and then, running and Polly running away. There's no way Polly wrote this show. Zero way. And so anyways, but, they've done everything like they were saying. I was reading this thing now that I came back off the road. I've been reading up, and then I read this thing, which I think Joe sent us, where they were saying this thing about, Vince. I was saying that one of the reasons the show isn't doing good is because there was a superstar absence. And then the article was actually saying that the only guy that had really been absent for a long period of time was Bray Wyatt. And, they brought in Heyman and Bishop. They did that wild card emergency thing. They brought Brock back. They brought Taker back. And it just seems, and we're supposed to be seeing these changes. I see no changes whatsoever. And somebody actually wrote this to me. This is a very good source. And this, because I said, there's no way Paulie wrote that show, which he probably didn't, but he put he goes, Paul and Eric aren't actually doing anything. Neither is Bruce. They're replacing the writers and being used as propaganda for old-time viewers. Vince is still writing it. Won't give it up until he dies. That's kind of what it looked like to me.
Absolutely.
And I also think, I was reading this thing where Eric Bischoff was saying, no, I'm not coming back and taking total control. It's a process. Nobody can just come back. Same thing happened to me when I came back to AAA. They did not give me total control. It was by stages. Plus, they also thought that I was going to leave again. And I'm going, well, then why'd you hire me if you thought I was going to leave? And so anyway, so they wouldn't give me control. And I have maybe like 80% control, which is a lot. And still there's shit that I have to still get authority to do. Or sometimes they're like, you're going to do this and this is the way it's going to be and you got to do it, you know? So I don't know how much Eric and Paulie, how much power they're going to have. And I would think that Paulie, knowing that his name is behind this and his reputation is behind it, is going to fight, you know, Vince for some autonomy. But it just seems like it's the same bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And here's another thing that pisses me off. Wait, one more thing that I want to say. Bro, here's the other thing. You always see the same fucking legends returning. It's always DX and NWO. How many times are they going to return? It's not even a surprise anymore. It's not even cool when they come out anymore. It's more like, really, again?
Yeah.
It's Ron Simmons. It's always the same people.
Slaughter.
Yeah, shows like that, they're throwaways to me. They're like doing entertainment. Like, I'm still like going forward with this product. I'm still giving it a chance because like the last couple weeks, the show seemed a little bit different to me. This show was kind of like a different type of show because they had people coming back. So I'm not going to judge it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They had 3 hours to get you interested in some feuds, and they really didn't.
That's like right. Because that's why I thought it would be different if they did that this time.
Want me to tell you a little pet peeve of me that got heat with me?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, did you see what? And I don't know. Maybe he's worn this before. Did you see what Ted DiBiase was wearing?
Yeah.
He was wearing a black jacket, and it looked like some kid from second grade arts and craft pasted on with old Elmer's glue a dollar symbol right here on each lapel. Yep. What happened to his sweet gold jacket that he used to wear? I mean, he didn't even, you know what I'm saying? It was that.
Plus,
that pissed me off. That pissed me off.
That aggravates you. That is funny.
It looked real bad.
Also, there was two scenes that looked so contrived where they're supposed to be having a party in the back, right? There's zero music, and the girls are dancing to what are you dancing to? There's no music. Everybody's trying to pretend they're having a good time. It looks so staged, phony, and ridiculous. I will say this. I thought Sami Zayn continues to cut killer promos.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, another thing about Rollins that was a really tough spot was, and maybe it was some more backlash from the original promo you're talking about that was very, very, very bad. Almost as bad as, you remember the Roman Reigns one where he did like the Jack and the Beanstalk thing? He was going to wrestle Big Show. His promo was on that level where I think in a couple of years people are going to go, remember that? Jesus Christ. But when he
it's like, come on, at that, I know that you're all very rich and you're all making money and everybody's happy. But, bro, look, I mean, obviously they did good numbers because I just saw the numbers because nostalgia will pop. And, you know, when you see Hogan and Nash and all these guys are coming back, you want to see it. But now what you did is you disappointed a very big audience, you know? Yeah. But I just can't understand why Seth isn't saying, hey, man, I'm not going to say that. It's bad enough he has kind of like a wimpy voice. Yeah. Then he's fucking giving JoJo shit. Yeah. You know, it's like trash.
And if you noticed when
he wants to be a Brock Lesnar wannabe. Yeah. Who the fuck not even you believe that?
Yeah. Right. And when they gave him the mic to do the "we got 2 words for you," you could hear the murmuring and the kind of booing starting in the crowd, like, ugh, like that people know when they're getting pandered to.
Bro, there was no real huge pops for the legends. The only guy that really got a huge pop was like Hogan and Austin.
Yeah.
Where do you go to, either one of you guys, if you could look it up right now real quick, like your 1 or 2 go-to sites for like wrestling reviews? Tell me what was the final review, if it's a grade or a number or even a comment from yesterday's show. I just want to see what people that you guys read said. You don't have to say the site if you don't want to, but
I don't even know.
I got Jason Powell. I had Jason Powell's review open anyway because I was going to kind of look through.
Go to rate Raw. Go to the next link. They rate the show, so you can like vote and rate. So go through. Go see the responses for that.
Give me the response and then what Jason said.
And he writes a fucking detailed review.
Well, just read the end.
Just the end, right? The recap.
Yeah.
Was this the series finale? It was fun to see the legends again, and Austin did a good job, and the crowd loved him. So while this was a fun reunion, I can't help but feel disappointed that WWE didn't do a big angle or anything to really hook returning viewers to keep them watching. It's another missed opportunity in that regard, so keep that in mind if they do a big rating for the show and things go back to normal quickly. I will have more to say in my weekly same-night audio review of Raw coming up tonight exclusively for .net members.
That's
There you go,
kind of like
Jason.
what we said.
Yeah, pretty
so
much.
what did the fans say in that poll or whatever the fuck
okay,
it is?
I'm voting. I'm going on this vote thing. I voted disappointing show. They have A is great show, B is good show, C is average show, D is disappointing show, F is awful show. I'm voting. All right, and the results are. Let's see the results. Disappointing, 66%.
Huh.
Or not 64. No, disappointing was 30%. Good show 25. Average show 19, and a great show 12%. Awful show 14%. So basically, kind of like
I'd like to meet the 12% that thought that was a great show.
Yeah. Well,
I think we know who they are.
They're probably like 10 years or less.
Obviously, somebody that's a fan of Stone Cold in Austin.
Yeah.
Or they're 10 years old. So what did you think about the women's thing, Joe? The Natalia and Alexa Bliss and.
Well, I thought Natalia and Becky had a good back and forth, and the brawl looked good too. You know, I was like, all right, now I want to see this match because you think, oh, they're using Natalia again in this spot, but they kind of won me over in that segment. You know.
Well, because she had an edge to her, and I think at the end she even called her a bitch or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, but I've heard on
and I did kind of like the thing where she goes, well, you know, you've been against me. You were training the girl that I took this belt from.
Yeah,
you know, that did have some logic to it.
Yeah.
And I think Alexa Bliss is money on the mic.
Yeah, and the people react like it too. You know, when she comes out for the segment, even if she's just doing that moment of bliss. You know, people pop for it. So
okay, be truthful with us. Were you wearing any red and yellow when Hogan came out, including the pom poms or whatever he wears around his neck, the boa?
No, I wasn't.
All right, just want to make sure. Just a disappointing show, bro. It's sad to watch. You know, it's just sad to see like Nash and Hall. Two of the most charismatic, most over guys I've ever met. If you meet them in person, they're just as fucking, you know, nothing, bro. They were just there doing nothing, just standing
very excited,
there,
right?
doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know, doing the Wolfpack, I was like very sad. You know.
Well, here's one thing before we move on.
And here's another thing that I was thinking was Flair very drunk. Were they running low on time, or does he slur his words? Because if you notice, they didn't even give him the mic.
You know what I thought? That's interesting. When he got out of the limo, he had it looked like a cut on his head that like they did and covered up because he was going to bleed later. Like I totally spotted it. I'm like, are they going to fucking go with blood? And then they just didn't do anything. I was like, okay, maybe that's not what I saw, but I did notice that. And what do you call it? The other thing was, I don't know if you guys knew this or read it yet, but the Seth Rollins thing that we were talking about, the awkward DX promo, that was actually supposed to be Ricochet, which would have worked probably a whole lot better because the crowd's behind him a little bit more.
Wait, so what
No,
happened?
it probably wouldn't have worked a whole lot better because Ricochet, who I love to death, is one of the most talented guys I've ever seen, is not good on the mic.
But if all he had to do was, we got 2 words for you, I think the crowd would have.
Oh, if that's all he had to do,
yeah.
Cool.
That's it, yeah. And but he has some kind of issue with his
charismatic guy, bro. Good-looking kid. That guy's money too. They've kind of dropped the ball on him.
But he had an elbow issue or injury that they took him off the show due to that. So
that doesn't stop him from talking, right?
Well, he would have had to have the match with AJ first because it was Rollins, AJ, and then the whole thing. So
okay.
Yeah.
Bro, what did that do for the OC? Like, I don't understand, bro.
No, bad.